at the core of leverage is that framework that you mentioned, right? CPR,
Yep.
communicate, plan, and resource. And you gave us some good context about how you came, to that system. Can you break that down for us a little bit more, just so that we have a common starting point for, the broader discussion on it?
Break down the framework, CPNR.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I'm curious, Stephen, on your side, but I find that a lot of my content, like this CPR or other things I come up with, it's usually just based off of pain. And pain's a great motivator for me. So a lot of things is I'll get extremely frustrated or be in a state of pain. And then I start thinking to myself, how do I never get into this situation again? And that's kind of how a lot of the things that we've developed came about. So take CPNR, for example. Again, it stands for communicate, plan, and resource. And so if you think about it, it starts with what is communication? Because a lot of people are communicating in a communication tool, but it's not communication. It should be in a task or project management tool. So imagine for a second you were going to go camping in the forest with your team. You would need walkie-talkies to communicate with each other, but that doesn't replace the need for a map to navigate out of the forest, right? So if I were to say, hey, Ryan, let's meet up when you come to New York, I would do that over email because that's communication. I'm just giving you a statement. You're not in my organization, so I'd use email because that's external, right? If we were on the same team, I would write that message in Slack or Microsoft Teams.
Hold on. Just worth pointing out, this is one of Nick's core principles. Email is for external communication only. Slack, those kinds of tools are for internal communication. So you can go dive deeper into that.
So it's all communication. And then within communication, separating out email for external, Slack, Microsoft Teams for internal. Now, with any tool, and we'll unpack P&R in a second, but with any tool, you want to use it to their highest and best use. So you want to know the nuances of how to do threads and third-party integrations and automation and channel naming conventions. And with email, you want to know all the settings tricks and how to snooze and best practice of foldering. And these are all things that are really important, but it starts with understanding the when before the how. So you have to understand what's the mental trigger to even think, hey, I should open up email, or hey, I should open up Slack or Microsoft, right? If your team is aligned on that mental trigger, hey, in this type of scenario, this is the tool we should all use. Even if you're not using those tools perfectly, at least you've reduced the scavenger hunt by an order of magnitude, because now instead of 5 or 10 places to look, everyone knows at least the one place to look. Now, of course, you want to use that tool, right? But at least you've streamlined where you're looking. That's going to save enormous amounts of time. Does that make sense? So you've got your communication bucket. Now you've got your planning bucket. So there's tools like Asana, Monday, ClickUp. Those are the popular ones right now. And that's where you would want to put things like, hey, Steve, could you write a article by Friday about the intersection of flow and operational efficiency, right? That's something, there's accountability, there's a due date, there's a person. You want to be able to know what are all the things that I asked Steve to do, what got done, what didn't get done. Or let's say you're relaunching a website for Flow Research Collective, and you need to create a video, change the branding, all these different things. That would be a project inside of your project management tool with a bunch of tasks, but it's all in one place that's easy to retrieve what you're looking for, right? And then you've got your resources. So every business has knowledge. You have processes, you have SOPs. Your core values is something that you want everyone to be able to access, your vision, your org chart. These are all things that should be 1 or 2 clicks away and easy to find, so that you're not bothering anyone in your company to ask questions, and you have one official source of truth, and you don't have risk that if someone leaves, all of the intellectual property leaves with them. How you do payroll, how you onboard people. You've invested time, money, attention, resources in developing these best practices, and you want to make sure that you capture it because it's an asset for your business. And so those are the 3 buckets: communicate, plan, resource.